Good morning from the Maldives.
Hello, hello.
So we're here at the Méridien, and it's morning for us. We just woke up and had our coffee.
Well, I'm still having my coffee.
Nick's still working on that. We're at Nick's bungalow, or I'm trying to remember what they call them villas here in their advertisements. So Overwater Villa, and he's on the sunset side. So we met in his outdoor deck because it's shaded in the morning, and so we would have been kind of blinded by the sun on my side, because I'm on the sunrise side. Anyway, let's get started. I guess an overview of Le Méridien in general, and then we'll get into some details and maybe show people around your room.
Yeah.
And go from there. So
overall impressions. Maybe we should start there. Overall impressions. Is it good? Is it worth the points? Is it worth coming here? What do you think?
Yeah. Overall, it's really, really nice. Just big picture. It's actually a lot nicer than I sort of anticipated, given that it rolled out at such a low Marriott category. So this is a Category 5 Marriott right now. And just to give you an idea of what that means, so during standard pricing rates, it prices at 35K points per night, which means a free night certificate from a $95 Marriott credit card is enough to get a free night here, except when it's peak price. Now, that said, it is peak price like all winter long, but for the off-peak times, like right now, it's priced lower. In fact, so I did use 35K free night certificates to book here. And you used points.
Well, yeah, I used one 40K certificate that came with reaching 75 nights as a titanium member last year, because that was going to expire in a few months anyway. So I used that up, and then I used 30,000 points a night for the other 2 nights. So it was off-peak, so I used 60,000 points for 2 nights and 1 free night certificate.
Which is crazy cheap for a place like this. It's ridiculous. So there's a post that I wrote about Marriott properties where you could use points to book overwater bungalows, and if you go look at that, you'll see that Category 5 is by far the cheapest of any of the properties. There is a Category 6, which is the Sheraton, which, if I remember right, it doesn't book into overwater bungalows, and it's not rated nearly as highly as the other properties.
No, and I've been to both, and I wouldn't go back to the Sheraton over this if they were equal prices, and they're not equal. The Sheraton has more points, so definitely come here for fewer points. The big downside here versus the Sheraton is that the Sheraton has a free transfer these days. It used to be a paid boat, but now it's a free transfer, I guess. And this is expensive to get to. Like most places in the Maldives, you have to pay for an expensive seaplane ride, so it's like $420, $426 a person round trip to fly here from the airport.
Yeah, so it's not cheap, although, again, if you look at that post I just mentioned, you'll see it's actually cheaper than the other Marriotts that are where you have to get a seaplane, which is most of them. So that's sort of more going in its favor, I think, than against it. The pricing, I mean, if you're coming to the Maldives and want to be like extremely cheap, maybe rethink coming to the Maldives, because
I agree.
When you're here, you're stuck on one island, and that's owned by the resort basically, and so you're going to be paying for food one way or another. Whether you can book a food package where you're paying around $200 a night here, or you can pay a la carte for the food, and either way, it's not going to be particularly cheap. So that's something to keep in mind. But from the point of view of just paying the points to stay here, this is the deal of a lifetime. I guarantee, 100% certainty, that come no later than March or April of next year, they're going to raise the category of this hotel. I think minimum Category 7.
I think so too. I can't see how they wouldn't. Right now, cash prices are lower than I imagine they will be when things get back to normal, and maybe that's one thing keeping the category down right now. But as things kind of increase in price and travel gets back in a swing, I can't imagine this staying in this category or this cash price range. I mean, this week, before we checked in, I saw rates as low as $405 a night when I was searching just in the days before arrival, which probably not many people book it just a couple days before arrival, but I think that's well below what this place will go for in normal times.
Yeah, I think so, especially once more reviews start coming out, because the overall, the staff here have been fantastic, super friendly, always working hard to be helpful. It's not a big property, but there are constantly buggies driving around, stopping to offer us rides wherever we want to go. I don't know what else I could say about the staff, but they've been really terrific. The the physical appearance of everything, even though this is brand new, virtually perfect. You saw a couple of scuffs.
I saw a couple of scuffs that surprised me.
Headboard.
The headboard of the bed, but
yeah.
But I mean, that's being as nitpicky as I can. That surprised me a little bit, but almost everything here is pristine. I mean,
yeah.
So
the pictures that they show on their website of like the beautiful beaches, beautiful restaurants, and everything, they're real. Like, it really does look like that. It's not like they're just selecting. Like, there are a lot of places where you get there and you're like, oh, well, I could see how they took this picture from a certain angle and got that beautiful of a view, but it doesn't look that way normally. This actually does.
It does.
Just everywhere.
And I think they do a poor job of selling the rooms on the website because they're still showing the old mock-ups. And I think if you showed pictures of these actual rooms rather than a mock-up,
right.
You wouldn't find any availability because everybody would see what it looks like and be like, wait, 30, 35, 40,000 points a night? Okay, because, I mean, even if you're paying peak price, 40,000, you're talking 5 nights with a 5th night free, it's 200,000 points for 5 nights. I mean, that's still an amazing deal here.
Right. And we're talking about the ability to book overwater bungalows at that standard rate. These overwater bungalows, they don't have all the features you would find necessarily in the overwater bungalows at some other resorts. For example, there's only a few units here that have plunge pools as part of them. And so if that matters to you, it's going to be hard to get one with a plunge pool here. What else? Oh, so some of them have like glass bottom floorings in sections, which is kind of neat to be able to see down at the sea life. You don't have that here. What you do have, and this is pretty common in a lot of places, is a netting across part of the outdoor patio. I'm going to try to change this here. So that netting I'm talking about here, which you can see down to the water obviously from there. And
I mean, it's great in theory, but it's not comfortable at all.
Yeah, so, I found that if I laid a towel down on it, it was fairly comfortable, sort of like a hammock, but that sort of defeats the purpose because then you're not seeing down into the water. But I guess you could lay a towel down up to your head and like lay your head down like that, look down at the water.
You could make it work if you really want to.
You can make it work, but it's not like that's been a problem. Everything is amazing here. I was doing my work from my deck yesterday afternoon, and a stingray swam like right next to the deck, and because I was sitting right next to the railing, it was very obvious to me, and I think just as cool probably as it swimming underneath my feet, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. You just made me look around and right now because you never know they swim by. So.
We are hoping to show you one before the end of this.
Keep our eyes peeled.
Yeah. What else is a downside here? The surf while we've been here, which is not very long, has been a little on the strong side. So Nick is sort of on the mostly open water side of the pier we're on, and I'm on the more enclosed side, and he hasn't felt comfortable getting in the water from this side.
Yeah. No, it has generally seemed too rough. where I didn't feel confident, at least not by myself. I guess, I don't know, maybe both of us going in, I'd feel all right, but it just seems like the current coming in is too strong, and I'd have to swim too hard to fight it to get out, whereas over on Greg's side, it's like very shallow and pretty easy swimming there for the first little bit.
Right. And so I do believe, though, that at other times it's perfectly calm. And in fact, one we were talking to last night, it sounded like she's been here a while. She had almost a week-long stay, and it sounds like just yesterday when we were first experiencing this pretty much, is when she first noticed it was too rough. So it sounds like that's not a common problem, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Another thing that's not ideal, depending on your preferences, is while there's plenty to do in the ocean here, there's not a lot going on the island. Like there's not any tennis courts or I don't know. There's not much activities. There's some. They do have things like morning yoga and some exercise classes. They do organize like some beach volleyball, but it's just not a lot. So if you're hoping to stay active and you're not a water person,
there's just really not much.
Come here to relax, not to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd love to see like bicycles. I'm kind of surprised that they don't have bicycles to be able to take out. That would be a nice addition. And there aren't a lot of, there's a chessboard, but there aren't a lot of other activities to do out of the water, like Greg said, like ping pong tables or tennis courts or like some island resorts like this will have a little show planned one night of the week or something like that. And there's not much of that here. The star of the show is the ocean. If you like to get in the water and you want to see the sea life, this is a great place to be. If you just want to relax and look at this, I would be happy to just spend a week looking at this view. So if that's you, then this is, I think, perfect. We're trying to figure out what the downsides are for people who are curious.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about room upgrades.
Okay, wait. Before we do, there was a question that came in, so I just want to answer that because this is an easy, quick one. Someone asked, how did we get here? You didn't see how we got here. Wondered if we booked business class. I think you were familiar with Abu Dhabi and Dubai and getting there, but you weren't sure how we got here. So getting from Dubai to here, for those who are familiar with the first part of the trip anyway, we used miles to book Emirates first class from Dubai to here. So the Delta Global Upgrade certificates that we're using for this trip got us to Dubai, and we booked this separately. Originally, I was looking at using the Delta Global Upgrade certificates to get all the way here, but Air France wasn't flying to the Maldives again until, I think, December. So in order to get here at this time of year this year, because of the pandemic and changes to flight schedules, the closest we could get was Dubai. So that's...
Yeah, so we flew to Dubai from the States on Air France. So we had booked a very cheap economy ticket and used my global upgrades from Delta to upgrade us to business class. That got us to Dubai, and then, as Nick said, we used miles on Emirates to get here. You can get miles for Emirates miles from pretty much any transferable points currency. So if you have Chase Ultimate Rewards points, you could transfer from there. If you have Citi Thank You points, if you have Amex membership rewards, Capital One, I guess.
Capital One, yeah.
They're not a great transfer ratio. Is that right?
I can't remember. Probably not.
So that's maybe not the best one, but still probably worth it if that's your best. If Emirates is your best option for an award flight, and then even this thing called Brex, which is a no-fee kind of small business card that a number of us have because they had a great deal earlier in the year, and now they have a version of that deal again, but it requires $9,000 spent in 30 days, but you get up to 110,000 points with Brex. Those are the points I used. I transferred from Brex.
I used Brex also. So.
And with Emirates, they have a ton, or at least for this trip, they had a ton of business class availability. We could have flown anytime we wanted to in business class. So we originally booked the outbound to the Maldives in business and just kept watching. Oh, there's a stingray. Oh, I believe.
Right there,
Yep.
it sure is. Get a quick picture. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm pointing it the right
I don't
way.
know,
Can you
but
see?
Whether
I am?
Good question. Good question. I took a picture.
It's too far away now.
Yeah, now it's too far away. So hopefully
All
you
right,
did.
let's come back.
Hopefully you did. Did you see it? Did you guys see this thing right?
Yeah.
Tell me you saw this thing.
Chad on the thing to let us know. Nick is watching his phone to see what's going on.
And I saw a question while that was coming through about COVID testing in Dubai to get to the Maldives. Yes. So we stayed at the Grand Hyatt in Dubai, and the Grand Hyatt will just send somebody to your room. You can set an appointment time, and it costs about $68. So we set an appointment for the day we needed to get our test, and the person showed up basically right on time, did the test in our room, the PCR test. If you want to actually go somewhere, I think it's even cheaper. I think you can find tests for $40 or $50 in Dubai, so it's quite cheap to get tested there.
So a lot of people said yes, saw it.
Yes, I know, I see. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
Great. I said at the beginning, I hope we see one, and there we go. That was fantastic.
Yeah. So okay, let's see. Then somebody. All right. So you were. Let's go back to what you were saying, and then I'll take a look at the question. So what you were talking about was room upgrades.
Oh, okay. Way back there. Yeah. So, so we're both Titanium Elite with Marriott, which is, let's just call it top tier elite status because the other one isn't really worth talking about. But when we checked in, Nick was told he got upgraded to the sunset view villa, whereas I just got a regular what I booked, which is a sunrise villa. Okay, so then they Jerlyn, am I saying her name right?
Yeah,
Jerlyn loaded us onto a golf carty buggy type thing to drive us to our rooms, and she stopped very close to the beginning of the pier as we're going out to drop off Nick, showed him around the room. I kind of followed them in, and here it is. That's where we are now. Beautiful. Everything's stunning.
Very nice.
We're really glad to see it. And then we got into the buggy to drive to my room and drove and drove and drove. It is a long pier. And it turns out my room is like something like fourth to the end, which I love. I mean, there's something spectacular about being that far out into the water, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
So I love that. And when I got into the room and saw the incredible view, you see the island to the right, you see the ocean to the left. I told Jerlyn, she had promised to check on an upgrade for me, but I told her, don't worry about it. I'm happy with this. This is great. And as the time went on, we learned more and more. It kind of seems like I got the hidden upgrade here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like an incognito upgrade. Getting the base sunrise room is an incognito upgrade, as long as you're on the side that Greg's on, because there's another section of rooms, and I think the opposite would be true in that section of rooms. But at least in this section of rooms, I would rather have the sunrise because, the open ocean is nice, it's pretty, but I would probably rather be seeing, feeling more tropical by seeing some of the island and the open ocean.
Right. And the other thing, there's a few other things why I like that side better. One is that it is too bright over there to work on the deck in the morning because the sun is shining right in at the deck, but by the afternoon, by the time it's getting really hot, it's all shaded over there. And so, working or just relaxing, it's perfect over there. You sit in the shade right by the water, and it's glorious. Over here, it's going to be full sun. And so, if you're looking for full sun to, beat down on you, great. That's when you're going to be wishing you had that plunge pool, I think, to sit in to cool down.
Yeah.
Don't have that.
and as far as sunset goes, it sounds great. You're going to have a sunset view, except you got to remember we're close to the equator, so the sun sets around 6 o'clock or so, basically, I think, all year. So at 6 o'clock, I want to be at dinner watching the sunset from somewhere. It's unlikely that I'm going to be watching the sunset from here, and in fact, I haven't yet seen the sunset from here.
Yeah,
so.
maybe tonight. They have a sunset happy hour just a few doors down from where Nick is, which we might try tonight and hang out there. We'll see. Maybe you'll stay here to watch it from your room, so we'll at least be able to report what it's like. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of the point. It's like it's not a big deal. And as far as sunrise goes, I set my alarm for 6:45 this morning to be ready for this. We started this at 7:30 a.m. our time, and by 6:45 the sun was already way up in the sky. So you have to be a pretty early riser to see the sun's rise, which is maybe why that's considered the standard room.
Yeah.
If sun views on the horizon are important to you, then yeah, I guess this is an upgrade.
Yeah. But otherwise, I'd be happier with the sunrise view. On that note, somebody asked, how are the occupancy levels? Any opportunity to be upgraded to an overwater bungalow with a pool? And Greg asked about that. That's what we were saying. He asked about getting upgraded to one of those rooms, and they said they'd get back to him, and then
never did. But again, I told them I was happy with where I was, so it's hard to say.
There aren't very many of those overwater bungalows that have a pool.
That's the thing. I think even though it appears to be very low occupancy here in that we hardly ever see people, I wouldn't be at all surprised if the few units they have with plunge pools are already taken. There are some units that are not overwater villas that have plunge pools, which I wouldn't want. So
you can't really see the ocean because for privacy, they have some like shrubbery up in front of the room. So even from your pool, you wouldn't be able to see the ocean unless you're standing up.
Some
maybe.
Shrubbery. Yeah. So there are some upgraded beach villas that are called lagoon villas that have direct ocean views, but that's like several levels up of an upgrade. So yeah, I mean, to me, the excitement of being here is so much tied into these overwater villa things. I don't see why would you do that? I don't know.
I try to think of a price I would pay for an upgrade here, and I can't think of what it would be because there's not an amount I really would want to pay. The plunge pool, I guess, would be kind of nice, but I still would I pay $100 a night for a plunge pool here rather than just get in the ocean? I don't even think I'd pay that much, and so you're not going to get an upgrade for any less than that, and I don't think there's a room here that's enough better to justify paying much more, except maybe if you get the 2-bedroom, but I mean, good luck with that. So.
Yeah, the tricky part is that as Nick mentioned earlier, there are 2 piers, and we're on the west pier, and so because we're on the west pier, the east side rooms are closer to the island because they curve sort of towards the island, and that's where the sunrise rooms are, in our opinion, a better bet.
Right.
On the east pier, it might be the opposite, and so it's unfortunate that you can't really know ahead of time. But I think what you could do, or at least to try to even your odds, if you book a sunrise room, which is their base level room, I think if I were to do it again, I would send a message to the hotel saying, could I be on the west pier? And because you're not asking for an upgrade,
right?
I think there's a good chance of getting that. I think I would also add, if you could place me as far towards the end of the pier as possible, that would be great. But that the first preference is being on the west pier, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree, and I would add to that part of the hidden upgrade of being in that specific spot is that the snorkel spot here is on that side. So if you want to go snorkeling and see awesome stuff, not that there probably isn't some stuff to see from any of these overwater bungalows, but if you want to see the reef, which is terrific here, then swimming from one of those sunrise views on the west pier is really the only option for swimming from your bungalow. I feel like otherwise it's going to be too long of a swim, right, from anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reef, see that dark water back there? I think that is part of the reef too. So when the water's calm, like it is now, you probably could swim to it from this side.
I would think that, except that on the map they gave us, they mark the snorkel spots and they don't mark this.
That is true. So again, if you want to snorkel, well, let me back up. If you're a strong swimmer and you want to snorkel the reef, you should, ask for the West Pier sunrise side. That's where you want to go from, so you can just go from your villa and swim out. I'm stressing the strong swimmer part because even though it was pretty easy for us the first day to swim to the reef, it was really, really hard to swim back, to get back to land. So the current's very strong. The next day, it was harder because the currents were the other way to swim out, and then not easy, but easier to get back. So
it's a distance. It's a distance of a swim. So and you're wearing a life jacket, and you can get free fins. So that all helps. And if you bring a waterproof case for your phone, then the nice thing is you'll know that worst case scenario, you can call and get help if you need to. So
you could call. The danger is you might call the hotel and get Marriott's 800 number, right? And you know what's going to happen then? The 800 number is going to say, you know, all your needs can be answered on Marriott.com.
Not this one. I need a boat now.
So Nick's going to be out there going, Marriott.com. Let's see, help feature. I'm stranded in the ocean.
It's not in there. Going through the menus, it's not in there.
Online chat. They've got their chat buddy automation thing.
Right.
Stuck in water.
Please send help. SOS.
And it'll be like, you can book points on these categories. Did that answer help you?
Speaking of booking points with some categories, we got some questions here.
Yeah,
so I want
let's
to
get
to a few of those.
sure, yeah.
So somebody asked, does 35,000 points a night include any meals?
No. No meals are included automatically. If you have Platinum Elite status or better, you can pick free breakfast, daily free breakfast, as your welcome gift. So if you booked 2 people in the room, you can get it for 2. And that's definitely the right welcome gift to get. And even if you want to pay an upgrade to get all-inclusive food, they'll give you a discount on that upgrade
if you pick
breakfast as your elite benefit.
Yeah, so you save a little bit there. Somebody asked, first of all, I think somebody asked how much the Seaplane transfers were, which we mentioned before, $420 plus $6 in tax, so $426. And then someone else asked, is there any way to save on that? How would you save on the Seaplane transfer?
Yeah, you can be like under 12, I think it is, and they charge half, and then under 3 or 2 or something, and it's free. So that would be the only way I could think of.
Well, no. I'm sure you could think of other ways to save on it. The nice thing is that gets charged to your room, so you don't book that separately. So when Marriott puts their gift cards on sale for 20% off,
that's the way to do it.
Buy those and you get yourself 20% off a Seaplane transfer. Or when there's an Amex offer, historically buying a gift card at the hotel front desk somewhere will trigger the offer, even though the offer terms always say that it excludes gift cards. So you buy Marriott gift cards. A lot of times those Amex offers are worth about 20% back. So again, save yourself about 20% that way. That would be my suggestion. Let's see. Somebody asked, apart from complimentary breakfast and potential upgrades, are there any other perks for Titanium Elites? Is there a happy hour? 20% off of food.
Oh yeah,
20%
actually.
off of food.
So let's talk about food because that's a big perk. I don't know. I don't think they would have given us 20% off the full board package if we had.
I don't think so. But
they didn't mention that. Yeah, it's worth asking. So we should check that out before we leave. But no, there's not really anything besides the 20% off food. But food's expensive as will be at any resort, pretty much any resort worldwide.
All right.
But except for an all-inclusive. And so you're talking about often like $50 and up for main courses at dinner. There are a few things that are less than that.
But yeah, that's a fair statement. $50 and up for most of the entrees.
Yeah.
And some of them, like steaks, the place we ate at last night started at $105, I think, and went up from there. So some things are quite expensive. So the 20% off as a Titanium Elite certainly could add up over a few days pretty quickly.
Exactly. It's a very good benefit. And they bring you the 20% off is the check at the end of the meal. It's included in there. So that's kind of nice because you see it as you go along. Now, I had a snafu the first day where it wasn't showing up. So I'm going to have to check out like make sure that those discounts get applied retroactively. Hopefully they'll have worked that out before anyone else comes here.
Right. So cost of food, several people have asked about that. Pretty pricey. I mean, you're probably, again, looking at $50-$60 an entree, a couple of cheaper options, but when I say cheaper, maybe the cheapest entree I've seen so far, I think, was $35. I think, anyway.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then their starters are, maybe about $20 a starter. So, and I haven't even looked at the desserts, but I would expect 20.
So they have a little sort of cafe by the workout area that's supposed to be all healthy food, and so there I ordered a banana split. So this is such paradise that even a banana split is apparently healthy food. But yeah, it was $20.
Yeah. And I got a coffee and a cookie yesterday, and with my 20% off, it was still $15 and change. So I'll stick with the coffee in the room. But it is nice. They do have coffee and tea in the room. That's complimentary. So,
right.
So I mean, food is going to get pricey. There's no way around that.
Let me say one thing about saving money though on food if you don't get the all-inclusive package. That breakfast is a very, very nice buffet. You could get as much as you want there, and so if you have elite status you're getting that free, fill up. And if you book an early dinner, so this is what we did yesterday. We didn't even eat lunch, so we had the free breakfast, and then at dinner we discovered Nick ordered this meat tray thing for like $50 or $60.
Yeah, I think it was 60. Yeah.
Which was so overloaded with meat that you could have easily split it. We could have easily shared that and been content. So you could do that, maybe share an appetizer as well, and then it wouldn't be a very expensive dinner.
No, it wouldn't be too bad at all. So that's the mixed grill sort of plate at Villa Grill. If you eat there, that definitely was shareable size, and it was $60 before the 20% discount. So I guess really it was $48. So that's a good value, a way to potentially do it. And then, like you said, the breakfast is really good. So I didn't feel like I didn't not eat lunch yesterday because I'm cheap. I didn't eat lunch because I wasn't hungry. And because remember, again, the sun sets at like 6 o'clock. Dinner at 5:30 just made sense. So if you're going to eat early like that, I think you could pretty easily skip lunch. Different question: how is the actual beach?
We haven't spent much time on the actual beach, but we've walked along it to get to dinner, and it's great. I mean, it's sandy and very nice.
Yeah, I mean, very nice. It's I noticed as I walked around the island yesterday that there's a lot of coral in some sections of the beach, like a lot of washed up coral.
Okay.
So those small sections that I found might not be comfortable without like sandals or shoes on. But we walked the length of the beach to dinner last night, and that area was all totally fine. It's not like the super finest powdery beach I've ever been on, but it's also very comfortable. I mean, I think Greg's probably looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, what do you mean? It's like, I mean, if we're trying to be critics here, I've stepped on softer sand, but I've also stepped on sand that I would less like to be walking on. And if this says anything, I already booked to stay for next year here, so I would obviously come back. I would pay for the Seaplane transfers again, so I like them. I'm just trying to compare for people who I know may have used their points to go to other incredible resorts. So it's not the powderiest of powder sands.
Seemed great to me, but I've only walked on it, as I said.
Yeah, there you go. So anybody asked about specific room number recommendations? So on the west side. So
I don't think it makes sense to ask for a specific room number, but like I said before, West Pier, sunrise, and as far out on the pier as possible is what I would ask for.
There you go.
Again, my room fits those categories and is probably fourth to the last. You can't get the very, very end room without a very, very big upgrade, which is to a 2-bedroom, overwater villa with a plunge pool. I mean, that's I think probably their top level room, other than they have like a villa on its own little island somewhere along here. So that's the very, very top. But anyway, I don't see them giving a complimentary upgrade to anybody to that 2-bedroom thing. So you'd have to pay a lot to upgrade to that.
Yep. Okay, couple rapid fire ones here. I heard there's an elite discount for Platinums and Higher. Is this still true? We talked about the 20% discount for food. That's the discount. Is there a birthday discount? Hint, hint. I don't know. Should it be my birthday? I'm not sure. But I saw that one. Is it pitch black dark at night? Does it feel safe to walk around after dark? Is it pitch black and does it feel safe?
Yes, it's very, very dark, and even the walkway along the pier is very dark. I mean, does it feel safe? You're not going to get mugged out here.
right.
There's nobody.
Yeah, I mean, what we may not be familiar with, I guess, is that these resorts in the Maldives, for the most part, any of the major ones, this is the only thing on the island. The island is entirely the resort. There's nothing else. So there's not any, the staff members live in their own little village on the island, and that's it. So, yeah, I mean, the only other people you see are other people staying here or working here, and there's no wildlife I would be nervous about. There are some lizards walking around and some bats. We saw some bats, but nothing that's been threatening, that's for sure.
The giant bats didn't hurt us. Don't worry about that. About safety, though, it is a little nerve-wracking when you're walking the pier at night because the buggies go up and down the pier to take people to and from their rooms, and in order to avoid blinding you, they turn off their headlights, and so you kind of vaguely see this buggy coming at you. And so, yeah, I mean, if for some reason they didn't see you, maybe they turned it off for someone else on the pier and didn't see you there, that could be a problem. But that's unlikely.
Yeah.
Another thing I just want to mention about the pier, I just find this kind of charming. The housekeeping rides around on these housekeeping tricycles to get from room to room. They have a thing on the back to carry all their equipment, and they just park at each unit to do their thing. They come twice a day. I have yet to be in a situation where I've wanted to be in the room and they've been there, or that I've been in the room and they've knocked to come in. I think maybe that happened to you once.
Yeah, it happened to me once, yeah.
But for the most part, they've been great about guessing when, or somehow noticing when we're out and coming then. The only funny kind of surprise thing is after snorkeling yesterday, we swam back to my deck, climbed back onto my deck. We're hanging on my deck when the sliding glass door opened, and the housekeeping guy came and said, I'm all done doing your room. Is there anything else you need? And it was just a surprise. Yeah, I had no idea
anybody was in there. Yeah. All right, good. So, and pitch black at night, by the way, stars look great because it is very, very black, very dark. So.
Last night, walking back from dinner, it was very dramatic. There were dark clouds in the sky, but there was a break where we could clearly see the moon and a bunch of stars. And it was just this very dramatic contrast. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, the birthday comment I noticed was reminding me that it's my mom's birthday. So happy birthday, Mom. Didn't know you guys were on Instagram today. Hey, look at you guys go. All right.
Actually, we scheduled this whole thing. Nick didn't want to say, but we scheduled this whole thing as a birthday surprise for Nick's mom.
For
so
my
happy
mom.
birthday,
Happy
Nick's
birthday.
mom.
Happy birthday. All right, so next question. Travel with Grant asks, how are you guys going to make it up to your wives after this trip?
Well, we're very unlikely to have wives after this trip, so it's not really going to be an issue.
And by the way, if I missed your question, at some point I got kicked out. When I came back in, I couldn't see the previous questions. So if I skipped your question, toss it back in the box again so that I see it again. Did the giant mailbag make it off the dock?
It did. That was the funniest moment of the whole trip, I think.
It really was.
When
it was hilarious.
We get off the seaplane, and Jerlyn comes up to us to greet us and then says, "May I carry your giant mailbag?"
Yeah, she paused with your giant mailbag.
I was using that bag to carry a change of clothes because you might have seen in the pictures I had long pants on and stuff, and I thought there'd be a point in the journey from Dubai to here where I could change into shorts, but it just didn't really work out, which it turned out to be fine. It wasn't an issue. It's so much cooler here than Dubai.
Yeah, a lot cooler.
Fine.
Yeah. like feels 40 degrees cooler. Oh, here's a good question. Somebody said, hey guys, I know Nick has been to the Conrad Bora Bora. How does it compare to this Marriott property, and preference between the Maldives or Bora Bora if you had to choose?
Yeah,
great question there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to compare it, and maybe I'll come back to your question. I'm going to compare it to the St. Regis and Bora Bora because they're both Marriott properties. And what I said is that I prefer the St. Regis over this in Bora Bora because of the, first of all, the incredible island views at the St. Regis Bora Bora. You know, looks at that mountain. It's absolutely gorgeous. Also, the St. Regis is a much larger resort than this, so there's a lot more going on in terms of stuff to do on the resort island itself. And the rooms, the standard room for on an award is a beach bungalow, which might be a downside if you prefer an overwater. On the flip side, it was a little bigger. It had a living room, so traveling with a kid, that was enjoyable to me. And then snorkeling, they had their own enclosed lagoon. And so that was super easy because you just climb down a ladder from several different points within the resort and snorkel in this artificial lagoon, so to speak, I guess. So it's kind of like swimming in a fish tank. You don't have to worry about getting swept out to sea. And the water in general was calmer than it has been here at this time of year. Now, of course, that might change, and there might be a time of year when this is like totally tranquil and easy.
Yeah, I will say that the peak award price there versus here is 2.5 times bigger.
And that's the next thing I was going to say. But if you're asking me just how they compare, that's what I would say. But in terms of the number of points, this is a significantly better value. And that's the same thing with the Conrad Bora Bora. Again, that's many more. It's like usually 89,000, I think, Hilton points per night, which to me is a higher price than what you're paying here because you can potentially use credit card free night certificates here, or with the fifth night free, you're paying like even at peak pricing when it's 40,000 points a night. So 5 nights is going to cost you 200,000, right? So, or no, 5 nights is going to cost you
here
160,000.
160,000
for 5 nights at peak, like
which is only 60% more than one night at the St. Regis.
So when I look at it through that lens, I would pick this over that. The experience is just going to be a little bit different. The lagoon in Bora Bora is just gorgeous. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and you're taking a boat through that lagoon to get to the hotel. So that's really cool too. The Conrad though in Bora Bora is somewhat comparable because of the fact that the Conrad is not on the lagoon side in Bora Bora. So then I think, when I'm down to that also, the fact that it's facing open ocean, I would take this over the Conrad. Even though the Conrad's a little bit more luxurious. I will say the Conrad's a little bit more luxurious than this, but I think this is quite a good
There's got to be sort of a limit to how much luxury you can sort of value. I mean,
I think that's a great point. Greg made that point
to me, this is
yesterday.
as much luxury as I can appreciate, I guess, is the way. Like, so, yes, if it's a Conrad or St. Regis, like some of the materials of things will be more leather or more velvet or something. I don't know what.
Yeah.
I guess you'd probably have a private butler, or a butler assigned to your room.
At the St. Regis, yes.
The St. Regis,
true, yeah.
which I guess would be nice. I have no idea what I would do with them here.
Yeah, not much. I mean, they brought coffee every day, so that was.
Oh, that would be nice.
I
mean, we do have our little pods that we make in our room, which isn't too bad.
No, it's been just fine. So for the cost, again, I think the cost value, I would come here over there because of the price. Though, if you really want to look at a gorgeous tropical island, then the St. Regis has got that going for it.
Yeah. Let me mention, there's a barista that works on the island, and so at breakfast, when they ask you about coffee when you're seated, I would say no to what they're going to bring to the table and just go up at the buffet area. There's the barista area. Ask him for whatever you want. He'll do a pour over, or French press, or whatever. It seems like his thing. We've only done one breakfast so far, but it seems like his thing is he has some like specialty coffee that he's going to try to encourage you to try. And so we tried that. It was delicious. And I told it. He came to ask how it was afterwards. I told him it was a bit too sweet, so he said he was going to remember me and make my drinks accordingly less sweet. We'll see.
We'll see how that works out, because I know what today's coffee is going to be, because he's the only barista on the island. So when I got a coffee yesterday, he's the person who made it, and he told me what he was going to make today. So we'll see what you think about that.
Yeah. I'm going to say one more thing about snorkeling. I think we missed this. They put these artificial reefs along outside of all the villas. So, and I think probably maybe even along the beachside villas. What they are these like round structures that are, I'm 100% sure that they made sure that they're ecologically safe and everything. And they're shaped and everything in such a way to encourage marine life to grow around it, and it has done so admirably. So from any room, you can actually wade out to this mini reef, basically, in order to see a ton of fish. I mean, it's pretty awesome.
I don't think that I added this video to our story yet, but I'll try to do that today, because I took a video of Greg like standing up looking at his phone, and then just like I dipped the phone into the water so you could see that artificial reef and see that just standing in waist high water there was some terrific fish to see. It was very colorful.
Right. So, you know, I was stressing earlier about going to the reef. You have to be a strong swimmer, but you don't need to be to see a bunch of fish. You can just, as I said, wade out there.
Very good. Kathy asked, can you please order a latte from the barista and take a pic? I'm curious to know if it'll be hip with latte art. I'll post a picture of the latte he made me yesterday. So I'll post that to the Instagram story shortly after we.
That was good planning, getting the latte yesterday.
And that wasn't my pick. He asked me if I'd like a coffee, and I said, yes, I want something cold. Go ahead and decide, because he seems like he's very into being creative and doing whatever it is he does. So yeah, I don't know if it was hip with latte art. I don't know, because I guess I'm not hip enough to know. Do you know about latte art? I don't know about.
Well, I'm assuming they're talking about like they often draw like some kind of shape in the top.
Yeah, in a cappuccino, I know that like in a hot coffee, I've not seen one.
Yeah, I haven't either, so I don't know what that's about.
I don't know, but I'll post a picture, and then you can let me know whether that was hip or not, because it probably isn't. I'm not hip enough to know.
There you go. Neither of us are. Well, I think that's well established. We're pretty geeky, unhip guys.
Right.
So that's our brand.
You know what you're here for, right? So Travel with Grant says, if Nick goes over the 200,000 point threshold, do these points roll over to the next Guck challenge?
I don't know. Is Nick going to be planning the next one, or am I going to be doing it?
Who knows?
We'll see.
But apparently you just got confirmation that there'll be another one. I don't know. This guy asks, what's the guest demographic? And let me scroll back up. Demographic that you've seen around the property. Mm-hmm.
The guest demographic is there are very few guests that happen to be in the same place we are at any given time.
I think altogether, if I've seen a dozen people staying here, like that's probably max.
That's about right. Yeah. I mean, I've only seen, I think, 6 people in the ocean altogether besides us.
Yeah.
And not at the same time. I'm talking about altogether.
Altogether, yeah.
So, not that there haven't been more than that. It's just as far as the time I've been looking out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
hard to say. Yeah, I have no idea what the demographic would be. I mean, I guess the Seaplane on our way here, there were some people on the Seaplane. So
so we know there's people.
Yeah, we know there are people here. I haven't seen them.
We don't know what they're doing. They're hanging out on their decks, I guess. But which is a great place. So I don't fault them for that.
No. So I think at least at this point, you may not see so many people as to care.
Oh, we did see a kid yesterday, which I hadn't up until then seen any children, although there is a huge inflated unicorn in the room next to mine, which actually is very nice. It's a great sort of beacon to show me where my room is, but never saw any kid playing on it, never saw any kids around. But at dinner last night, we had dinner at Vela, which is a pool bar in the daytime and then a very nice restaurant at night. And there was a kid playing in the pool.
Oh, there you go. And there is a kids club, but I haven't seen that kid or anybody else playing at the kids club yet. Let's see, a couple other questions.
To be clear, we don't spend a lot of time in the kids club.
We don't. But I passed by it a few times. How is the Wi-Fi?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's consistent but slow.
Oh, really? I haven't noticed it being. I mean, slow. I guess. Yeah, uploading and downloading files have been slow.
Yeah.
So browsing the internet.
Browsing's been fine. Yeah, totally fine.
Uploading
the
and
issue has
downloading
been we've
files.
had a lot of videos to
Yeah.
upload, and
Those are slow.
it takes a long time.
The other thing is that the island is really well covered with Wi-Fi,
It
but
is.
I did a video call with my wife and kids yesterday, and as I was walking across the island, and every time, it must have been a new router picked up my signal, it dropped the call for a second and then came back. So
That's normal.
yeah, so that was maybe the one issue, but I was able to video call without a problem, and obviously we're doing this from the Wi-Fi, so
Right,
this is
right.
working on your end, and I guess the Wi-Fi is okay, right? So hopefully that's good. Curious about the charges. Will you post your folio at the end of your stay? I mean, I think we're probably more likely to post menus and prices than our individual folios, but there weren't any. There's no resort fee.
Right.
There's the Seaplane transfer that's $4.26, and then what you eat.
Right. And the Seaplane transfer fee is very clearly shown when you book a room.
Yeah.
Even if you book with points, it'll show you as you're checking out the $426 estimated charge.
Yep. Are the all-inclusive options on the menu limited?
Per person.
Oh yes, per person. Yes, good point. Are the all-inclusive options on the menu limited if you book one of those food packages?
I don't know. I haven't looked
Yeah.
at those yet. So
she
we're
said
planning.
that there was a menu set.
Yeah, we're planning to go look at and maybe take pictures of the options for full service. So we'll get back to you on that.
Good question. How's the Wi-Fi speed? We addressed that. Have you determined the reasonable redemption value for FM points yet? That's a great question. I like that question,
Yeah.
but I don't. I think the point is not the points.
We're like, whose line is it anyway? Where the points don't matter.
So the points don't matter. So no answer on the reasonable redemption value. All right. So I mean, overall, would you come back, Greg? What's your favorite thing about it so far, and what would stop you from coming back again? Have you booked a return trip?
I have. I booked a possible return trip. That's one of the things I love about points is that you can, just book things and cancel them later and not have to worry about having the money available yet to do it. Would I come back? So it's kind of an interesting question because I have a strong desire to learn about other resorts in the Maldives so that I can better compare. So all things being equal, even though I love this place, I would also love to try other properties. So even though I have a place booked, I think more likely than coming back here, I'll try another place. And there's a lot of places I'm interested in. I have a lot of Radisson points left over from sort of the old days where there were big promotions, and so I'd love to book the Radisson Blue Maldives with those points. What a great use of points that would be. It's gone up from, I think, 70,000 points a night to 75,000, but big whoop.
Right.
I would love to try the Six Senses Resort, which is now an IHG property, which I think is 100K points per night. But I have the IHG credit card, which would give me fourth night free. So that's a great deal and looks amazing. I would love to try the new Ritz-Carlton that's here and book with Marriott points. It'd be 100K a night, but fifth night free, so not horrible. They do offer free breakfast there to everybody, so that's reasonable. I could go on and on.
Yeah. There's a lot of different options here. So I think, particularly as people who write about these places, I totally agree with Greg. I think we would be interested in comparing more of them so that you know which one to book. So I could definitely see where we might. Try another one.
If I had Marriott points and just wanted to return to a place, go to a place that I knew would be really nice, you would not lose out by coming here.
No.
I mean, especially.
I don't think anyone would walk away and be like, "Oh man, I wish I stayed somewhere else."
Right. Now, I will say, if there is not a sunrise room available, I probably wouldn't book it, or I'd look for a different time to book. Because sunrise is their standard room, but they also have a beach villa as a standard room. I would not book a beach villa.
No, I wouldn't book a beach villa here either. And I did book a beach villa in Bora Bora, and I liked it. I wouldn't book one of the beach villas here because, like we said before, you can't see the ocean from the beach villa here. So, agreed with that. A couple of other good questions that just rolled in. Two different people asked similar ones. Any recommendations for activities at the resort and excursion opportunities or options?
We haven't done any excursions here, so it'd be hard for us to recommend them. They do have a list of activities. The one that we almost did, they charge something on their price list. They have like $50 for water rescue, and we came close to taking advantage of that.
We did. When we laughed about it in advance, and then we got here and we were like, no, maybe that really is. They meant $50 for a water rescue. So, because you get on the back of a jet ski, and they're like, we don't want to give you a free jet ski ride. I'm going to charge you for that. But so I don't know if they have it on the website, so you may have to email the hotel, but they have an entire menu of the excursions. And actually, I thought that they were more reasonably priced than I would have expected. There was a 2-hour snorkel tour that went out this morning that would have been $70 a person. So
that's not bad at all.
That's not too bad. I mean, it's you could snorkel for free here, but if you want to take a boat somewhere and not have to swim out to the reef and have a guide, $70 is, I think, reasonable for that. And even some of the more expensive ones, you can do a sailboat, you can get a sailboat with a captain and a lesson, and some of those things were, again, fairly reasonable. You can go scuba diving. I think it was about $100 a dive, if I remember correctly. So
that's cheap too.
Yeah, I mean, that's not bad for, again, in a place like this, when you're paying $70 or $80 an entree, that to me seems like not a bad value.
Well, also just we know that other places charge
more.
way more for scuba.
Yeah. So in terms of those things, there are some opportunities. Other activities at the resort, you can rent paddle boards for free. You can rent the snorkel equipment for free.
Kayaking
is free. Canoeing is free. So you do have some of those different options. We're going to do some stand-up paddleboarding today, we hope, just in order to get some experience with that. Does it rain in September? I don't know. It has not rained, I don't think yet. Maybe it did last night. Late last night, it sounded like maybe it was raining overnight, like 3 o'clock in the morning.
There's no evidence of it.
No, there's definitely no
evidence. It's not wet or anything.
No,
but it hasn't rained for us.
Yeah, exactly. So. Did you have to wait very long at Maui Airport for the Seaplane transfer? And how is your return schedule with Seaplane transfer? Great question there.
Let's talk about that. So on arrival, once you clear customs, you come out to an area where all the people from all the resorts are holding up signs with the name of the resort. So the idea is you go up to them, tell them you're here, and they show you what to do next. In our case, there was a guy, but we didn't see him. And Nick and I exited separately, and neither of us saw the guy. I think maybe he was using the bathroom. Maybe I do sort of vaguely remember seeing a guy who was looking down at notes when I was walking by, and I didn't see his sign. It might have been him.
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, I had in mind, so I've been to Bora Bora, and if you have, you know that they're similar in that they have these little kiosks for many of the different hotels. So I just expected Le Méridien to have one of those kiosks. So I wasn't even really looking for somebody holding a sign because I just expected to go to the kiosk and find the Le Méridien kiosk. But that wasn't the case. The Le Méridien didn't have a kiosk. And in fact, I don't think there were that many hotels that did, or at least there weren't that many kiosks that were.
So I would recommend when you come out, if you go past all of the people with signs and don't see Le Méridien, ask someone. Because there's a lot of other Marriott people. Ask the Ritz guy or the St. Regis guy, whoever. And I'm sure they'll point you to the Le Méridien person.
Yeah.
And that's the way to do it. We found it because we had an email from the resort saying which Seaplane transfer company was going to take us, so I went over there. And when we told them, they called the guy, and he came over. And they checked our bags through from there, loaded us onto a shuttle, and drove us to a building where there was a lounge inside to park us for, it couldn't have been more than about half an hour.
Yeah, no, it couldn't have been more than that.
There was a little bit of food there where I had some breakfast. Don't expect anything good.
No, it's not going to be a remarkable lounge experience, but you have at least some refreshments anyway, some coffee.
Right. Then they loaded us back onto a shuttle to take us to the marina where all the seaplanes are for this company and put us on the little seaplane. They flew about half an hour to a different resort, not a Marriott, where they offloaded some people, did anyone come on there? Some people came on, I think, to go back to the main island. and then 5 minutes to Le Méridien, and we got off here. And so that was the experience. When I've read about the whole seaplane experience, I thought it sounded miserable. It didn't feel at all miserable to me.
No.
It seemed totally fine.
The views were pretty. You're seeing the other islands as you were going over. I mean, that didn't bother me at all. It's very small, so if you don't want the roof right over your head, I mean, there's no two ways around that. You can see into the cockpit, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was.
In the past, I've sometimes gotten a little motion sickness from small airplanes. I didn't have that problem at all. Might have just been lucky that there wasn't turbulence. I don't know. For the way back, we don't know.
We don't know. That's the good. I'm glad you just mentioned that. That's the other thing. You don't know. They say that they schedule the transfers only 24 hours in advance. So you could end up waiting at the airport, they say, for up to 2 hours. So I don't know if our experience was typical, but we were definitely not at the airport altogether for more than an hour from like the time we got off the plane to the time we started flying here, probably. And then on the way back, so we leave tomorrow, and I have no idea what time we're flying out of here yet. We haven't found out. Nobody's notified us yet. And we talked to somebody yesterday who was leaving today, and they also similarly had no idea yet. So they were stopping by the desk to find out. So you don't get to pick. And Greg made the point while we were talking about this last night that it's at least very likely that we'll get lumped together with people that are on other flights or coming from other islands. So it won't necessarily be the time that we would prefer. We'll just get what you get.
So we're hoping that nobody is flying out a little bit earlier than us, because that would force them to schedule the seaplane transfer earlier. We want to get our free breakfast in before leaving.
Hopefully.
I don't know if that'll happen yet, so we'll see.
So that's that. All right, would you recommend a 3 or 5 night stay at this property, trying to decide if it's better to use the 5th night free?
I mean, we have a 3-night stay, and I would much prefer a 5-night stay. So I would definitely go for the 5th night free. Plus, if you think about the $420 per person seaplane transfer, you only pay that once, no matter how long your stay is. So if you average it across the nights, for a 5-night stay, it's less than $100 a night. So.
Yeah. I was doing the math last night, figuring out, okay, how many free night certificates do we have, and how many points do we have, how many nights could I stay? So I was looking at much longer than 5 nights if it could only happen. I'm sure it won't happen, so I didn't book that much yet. But yeah, I would certainly err on the 5-night side. Is the ocean noise too much at night with the Overwater villas?
No, not at all. I unfortunately, if the doors are closed, I couldn't really hear it. You said you could hear it?
Yeah, it got a little loud last night, but it wasn't loud, like bothersome loud. I mean, you could hear it.
I love the sound of the surf.
Yeah, me too. So to me, that's a plus. You can hear it a little bit, but it's not overwhelming.
And you could, I've thought about doing this. You could open the doors and turn on the fan above the bed and probably be comfortable. For those who want to hear the surf like really loud, which maybe I'll do that tonight, actually. Give that a try.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a mosquito or anything like that, so I don't think there's any bug.
I mean, some bats might fly in.
Well, maybe, but probably they're going to stay on the island side near the trees, so you're probably okay.
That would be unpleasant.
You'll find out when you turn into a vampire if something is different. Is it common at other resorts that you don't get to choose a departure time? At places like where you are stuck on these individual tropical islands, I mean, obviously in the Maldives for sure, because, again, it's not like, there's not an airport here. You're on an individual island that's just this resort, and there's only a few companies that are doing the seaplane transfers, so they're going to pick up and drop off as many people at a time as they can to fill those planes up. And same thing in Bora, because you need to get to the airport in Bora. It's a boat transfer. Now, I stayed at the St. Regis there, and they were... The time that they scheduled me for, I said, that doesn't give me enough time. I was nervous that it was going to get me to the airport too late. And so I actually pushed for an earlier departure, and they were able to accommodate that. But with the seaplanes, I would expect you have like zero control.
Right. And you don't have a choice. You can't like find a seaplane operator and book it yourself either. No. They don't allow that kind of thing. So just go with the flow.
Go with the flow, yeah. Be ready to accept that. Yep. As somebody again asked the departure time, we don't know. You find out at some point before you leave when you have to leave. Yeah. So, and several people asked us to post this on YouTube. I don't know if that's possible, but hopefully our audio-visual team will get on that.
I think we'll figure out how to do that for sure. All right. Let's do a quick tour of the room.
Okay, let's do it.
Let me see if I can switch to. Are you going to hold it?
Well, either way, yeah, it's up to you.
Great.
That way you can explain.
Sure.
Okay.
You might want to hold it by that
thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Got it.
All right. Okay, here we go. We're going into the room.
Okay, so go over this way.
Okay, so big king bed in the middle of the room. I don't know. I don't think there are units with twin beds. Can't remember seeing that.
So,
if you're here with another person, you've got to be cozy with them. We've got to show them the all-important coffee area.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
So for those who need their coffee first thing in the morning, there's a little illy machine, and there's little illy pods.
I've used a few of those.
And while there's these tiny little cups, there's also over here.
Except mine were both used, so
normally
that would be.
There are tiny but less tiny cups.
They're in one of the
in
drawers
the drawer. All right.
Little mini bar in there that's all paid stuff.
Yeah, so you got to pay for everything here except for the bottled water. So they keep these well stocked, big bottles of water, both there by the side of your bed, and even in the bathroom.
Right. You got a little storage space here that you can put your luggage in, I suppose, right on the other side of the bed, the headboard of the bed.
All right.
Closet.
So I don't know.
There must be a light.
There's a light over here. Let's see if we can turn that on. There we go.
Not super bright, I guess.
All right, not super bright, but
you can see though.
So here's the closet. So the room comes stocked with these life jackets. Luckily, I don't know if you could tilt down and show the sandals and slippers. There's robes. I have yet to use mine.
I used one, a luggage rack. The other thing about the closet that Greg pointed out that I hadn't noticed, but
do you hear this? Mine is much squeakier than this. They need to oil these things because I'm just picturing, staying here with another person and they're sleeping and you're trying to, get up and put on something to go out onto the deck or whatever. And well, this one's not too bad.
No, it's not bad right now.
Mine squeaks like a banshee, and there's no way someone would sleep through that.
No, for sure not. Okay, continuing on.
Okay, so there's a nice little sort of makeup table area here. And there are outlets that actually work with regular US cords all around
My
the
laptop
room.
cable is plugged right in there, so all over the room. Really well placed on the outlets. I got to give him credit there.
All right. The only room besides the closet in the whole unit that doesn't have an ocean view, if the door's closed, is this one where the toilet is.
Yep, just an opaque window for light in there. That's it.
And then you have the bathroom, which I love. It has these doors to the room that open up, sort of a window to the room. But what I really love is the view out of the ocean, which is just amazing. And then the shower. This looks like just part of the bathroom, but it's actually the shower. So, yep, it's got the rainfall shower and a shower wand. Nick pointed out that it's very odd that there's not a bar that goes high enough. So if you prefer the wand to kind of spray at you diagonally, you've got to hold the thing the whole time. The funny thing is, I'm normally one who doesn't like rain showers. I find normally the experience of having water coming straight down as opposed to diagonally unpleasant. I don't purposely go out in the rain. Why do you want to pay extra for a rain shower? But for whatever reason, I find this one. I really like.
I
this
like
one.
it. I like rainfall showers.
I really like this one. So no complaints there at all from me.
Shampoo, conditioner, body wash there, reusable, and also so you see it's wide open. You can take a bath here, and it comes with bath salts too, and you can have a great view. But also, we should show you. Why don't you pull down one of those so they can see that? So there are shades that you can pull down. So if you want a little bit of privacy, there you go. So you could do that 3 ways around, and so you could cut off all of the ocean views if you want. We haven't seen anybody, so I literally haven't seen a single person swim by. So I haven't been too worried about it.
No. The chance of someone seeing you is...
This is a sunset side,
very
but
low.
Somebody asked, may I know which room this is, sunrise or sunset? This is sunset, but Greg's room is sunrise, and it's exactly the same. So there's nothing different about the room.
Right. So as you could see, you could walk directly out to the deck from the shower.
Right. Which I may have done to try to take a picture of a stingray.
And it's also actually nice when coming in after swimming, because if you're dripping and everything, you could go into the shower area, take a shower right from there. The deck also has, if you don't want to have seawater on you when you're coming back in, it has a spray right there, so you could hose yourself off as soon as you come up the ladder from the water. Look how low it is. It seems pretty
it's very
calm.
low and calm right now. Yeah, kind of want to get in it. And
I'll get in.
And there's go right ahead. There's a couple of chairs here. We got a net, and we got that's the net you can lay on that's uncomfortable. And we got Greg the frequent flyer.
Right. I'm going in the water. I am going to try very hard not to
get your microphone. I was just going to remind you. Yeah. All right, so you can see him, right? Yeah, there you go.
All right, you'll get an idea of how deep it is. So I am not a tall guy, but it's not even to my waist. So that's
actually great.
I don't know if that's usual though. I mean, often it's up to about here. So it depends on the tides.
Yeah, that sure does. Yeah, because I've seen it higher.
And
but
can you see what? So right there, right, is the
yeah. So you see that dark spot over there? That is one of those artificial reefs.
So
I think I'm pointing.
I guess I won't do the whole thing right now, but that's where you could wade to see a whole bunch of fish right there.
Yeah.
Not far at all.
Right. So I mean, that's the view you have, and over this way you might be able to see that's the Japanese restaurant over there, sort of the fancier place. So you can see that, and there's also a table. We were sitting at the table over here with 2 chairs when we were starting this all out. So lots of different options, lots of stuff to see here. Beautiful view, and again, whether you get sunrise or sunset, the room is identical. I think Greg's layout is bathrooms on the opposite side. That's, I think, the only difference.
Yeah. Last thing, thanks to Nick, we each bought these things before we left home.
That's right.
And I think Nick's going to do a review of this, but this is basically a case that you put your phone in and keeps your phone waterproof for snorkeling and everything. The screen that's on it, the clear screen that you see your phone in when it's in there, your finger can actually manipulate the phone. So it doesn't work very well underwater.
Right.
But so we had to, like, when snorkeling, come up out of the water to press buttons, and then even then you got to kind of press and hold to make things work. But it works. And there is a shutter button right here. I don't know if it's clear there, which, if it lines up correctly on your phone, will work to take pictures. And on my iPhone 11 Pro, it works perfectly. So I just press that to start recording and press it again to stop, or if I'm on photo mode, press it to take pictures, and that is awesome.
Yeah, that volume, or the shutter button presses your volume rocker, because when you're on photo mode in most phones, the volume up or down triggers the shutter. So if it lines up with your volume button, awesome, because then you'll just need to use that trigger, and it's, we're talking then a physical manual switch essentially, and so you're not going to have any problems with that. Mine, I have a Pixel 4a 5G in the case I got. It does not line up properly with my volume rocker, so I do have to touch the screen. But like Greg said, I just quickly discovered that taking it out of the water for a quick second, starting record, and then bringing it in the water does the trick.
All right. How about we take one more question?
Okay.
And then call it a day.
Okay. Are you
a night for most of you? I think.
Yeah. So last question here then: Are you all on one of the islands in Malé?
Are you on?
Are you on? Essentially, y'all. Are you all on one of the islands in Malé? So Malé is a city, and it's its own island. So no, none of the big resorts are in Maui. I mean, I'm sure there are some hotels. I stayed at a hotel near the airport there once. But all of the big resorts, any kind of St. Regis, Ritz, JW Marriott, Westin, W, Sheraton, Méridien, those are all Marriott properties here. They all have their own island. So no, you take a seaplane transfer, or in some cases a boat transfer to get to the hotel island, and in almost all cases the resort you're staying at is the only thing on the island, and there's no way off of it or to some other place other than the seaplane transfer.
Right. All right. Thank you for
Okay.
joining us here, and we'll make sure you follow Frequent Miler to keep up with all the latest. We'll be posting reviews of this place, reviews of individual things like snorkeling here and whatnot. So stay tuned. Can you
All
hit
right.
that live button?
Yes, sure. Take
Bye,
care,
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Oop. Thought that would turn it off, but hit the X, I guess.